Right. Hey, fellas and lasses. I know it's been a while since anything's been on the channel, right? Because life, you know, but that's just the way things have gone. Obviously, beard's grown, different things like that. All right. I've just sat through 90 minutes of England v Hungary at Molineux and just watched us get beaten 4-0 off the park by a fucking piss ass Hungarian side. Okay, for starters, let's just lay something out very, very, very quickly, right? I got into football thanks to the 2016, was it? No, sorry, 2018, sorry. The 2018 World Cup, right? That was my first big introduction to football. You know, I didn't really care for it before. I come from a rugby family, right? And, you know, my family are all big rugby players. Brother loves it, dad loves it. I love rugby, right? You know, it's a wonderful sport. But I loved the atmosphere of that World Cup. I loved it. I loved the way we almost did it. You know, the following season, being a Norwich local, I obviously supported Norwich. You know, and I watched us get promoted. You know, granted, the next season we went down, but then we came back up the following season. You know, I then watched us get to a final of the Euros and only get beaten by an Italian side because our manager lost his bottle and because the ref was a fucking twat who didn't send off Chiellini for a clear fucking foul on Saka. Right, but that's in the past. All right, so imagine my shock when I'm going to these 4 Nations League games, think to ourselves, right, this is a warm-up for the World Cup, right? You know, we should beat Hungary comfortably back-to-back. We should preferably, I know it's a new German side under a new German manager, we should go at them and say, welcome to the party, this is how rough things are, and we should try and drive home to the Italians that, yeah, you beat us on pens and that was it, with a better team. Instead, we fucking floundered in Budapest, losing 1-0. We go to Munich, right, and are lucky to avoid a defeat thanks to what is obviously, right, the fucking dumbest penalty that has ever been given to an England squad. We don't score jack at home against them against the Italians, sorry, at Molineux, right, in a game that we should have scored against them. Then today, right, we're at Molineux, we're playing the Hungarians. Nice and simple, nice and easy, right? 9 changes, okay? Yeah, good. Young talent, let's bring them on, let's get them done. Right? First of all, the set piece, okay? Who the fuck fell asleep for that, right? It's a great goal, but no one should ever get that lucky in the box. I thought I was watching Norwich Premier League defending. I was seriously I was like, what the fuck am I watching, right? Leeds wouldn't have conceded that from a set piece, and they're terrible when it comes to set pieces. They're absolutely god awful. They're worse than Norwich are, right? Shout out Big Deeks, right? He'll tell you. He'll go in the comment section. He'll say, "Yeah, we were shocking last season. Not even Leeds would have conceded that." Okay, so that's just number one. Then in the second, I mean, I honestly had a flipping meltdown in the second half. We conceded 2 in the space of 10 minutes, and we conceded a third in the 88th minute. And also a fourth, sorry, in the 88th minute. We fucking fell apart in the second half, right? There is no creativity in this England side. There is no creativity in this side whatsoever, right? Southgate loves playing his fucking favourites, and he's got all his favourites in there that he loves and he enjoys, right? He can't pick a formation that he enjoys, right? Here's the thing. I'm just going to put it out there now, right? I said today that he should play a 3-back against the Hungarians. I said that, right? And I said he should play a 3-back against the Hungarians because then the wing-backs could cut inside and shoot. Jared Bowen had a fucking mare today, right? Bowen had a fucking mare, okay? Saka had a fucking mare. Watching Kane was like watching Pokey in the Premier League, right? When he got the ball, he looked dangerous, but he weren't getting the ball nearly fucking often enough to look dangerous, okay? The midfield lost their battle from the first fucking moment, right? They were losing that battle, okay? It's in war and in football, there are two very similar concepts. Whoever controls the middle of the damn field can dictate the terms of engagement. That's how it works, right? Okay? That's how it works. You want to look at the best example of that? Look at Waterloo, right? Waterloo, Wellington denies the middle of the field to Napoleon. Napoleon can't dictate the terms of engagement, right? The Hungarians denied us that park, right? They denied us the middle of our own fucking turf, right? And it meant we were forced to go up the wings the entire game. And we were basically punting it into the box. We were just punting it in the box. Oh, fantastic. 5'7" Jared Bowen and 8 Saka in the box there. Yeah, Kane is tall, but you've got a pair of Hungarian centre-backs in there who'll eat that stuff for breakfast because they're big and they're tall and they see this ball flying towards them. It's like, all right then, how it goes. But this is like the minimal sort of stuff, right? Okay, this could sort of have been dealt with. The major problem here is Southgate. Okay, I didn't have a problem with Southgate up until these Nations League games. I didn't have a problem with him. Okay, I thought he was unlucky in the Euros. I thought that the World Cup qualifiers had gone quite well. I thought, yep, he's good. I thought the qualifiers had gone quite well. I thought we were looking absolutely fine. And I hoped to God, right? I hope to God that these 4 nation games that we've just thrown down the fucking toilet, I hope they are just test runs to make us look weak as piss. We've got fucking Yanks on our Twitter fucking laughing at us, right? Firstly, fuck you lot, right? You can't play football worth a shite. Your best player is a fucking backup at Chelsea. So let's not fucking joke ourselves here, right? Alright? So let's not fucking kid ourselves. We've got fucking Yanks laughing at us. They shouldn't have the right to laugh at us, right? We fucking developed this game. We built it up to what it is, right? But it don't fucking help that Southgate is sat there and he's picking his favourites. And he don't have a plan B. He don't have a plan B. There was a point around, when it got to the 70th minute, and it was the same when we played the Germans and we conceded. And it was like, as soon as we conceded, we upped the pressure and we started going more frequently. But we were still doing the same shit. So, right, so you're not giving it 100% intensity, so fuck you for starters. And we're doing the exact same things we were doing previously. And it weren't working. So why are we still doing it? I never saw a long shot. I never saw someone running at a player to try and scare the boots off him. Right? That Hungarian side would have given away a god-awful number of penalties if you just run at them. Okay? They weren't a fantastic side. They weren't fantastic. But their coach just picked up on mistakes that we were going to make. Playing a high line. It don't matter about playing a high line. But you have to win the midfield. That's the reason why Liverpool and Man City do it so well. Because they have fucking holding midfielders who are absolutely world class. They can do that. They can afford to do that. Right? Here's a good example. Norwich played a high line towards the end of towards the mid part of the season. Right? We were playing against Man United and our centre-backs were on the halfway line. We were playing a very, very high line. It took Man U one chance and they broke through our ranks and they almost scored from it. Okay? Because our midfield weren't solid enough. That's why the likes of Man City and Liverpool can do that because they have very, very solid midfields. The midfield that was chosen today weren't good enough. Granted, I thought, going into that game, that Gallagher and Bellingham were going to have an absolute mad one. They were going to go up and down that pitch all bloody day. I thought Phillips at the base of that CDM was a good idea. I did think that. But as the game went on and progressed, I noticed something that was repeatedly occurring. It was going from Phillips to either Bellingham or Gallagher, and then it was going wide. And I tell you what I thought to myself. Fuck's sake. It's early season Norwich. And if I'm saying that, there's a fucking problem going on there, right? That shouldn't be occurring under any circumstances whatsoever, right? Early season Norwich is not something you want on your doorbell, all right? Okay? That's not something you want, okay? The fact that we're basically playing a triangle formation like that, right? And it was going from a holding midfielder and it was going out, and then they were trying to cross it in. No, don't do that. Don't do that. It's not going to bloody work, right? You have to go forward at people. You have to run at people. God, honestly, and the fact that Kane isn't screaming at his teammates that they should be cut inside at the very least. You know, I could go through a completely different video talking about players that should have been called up instead of ex-players or right, yeah, that could all be done, okay? You know, there might be Everton fans who come on here and say, you know, oh, Harry Kane should have been played, we should have played Calvert-Lewin. And yeah, Calvert-Lewin probably would have done better. But I don't cover up the fact that we've just been beaten 4-0. We've been beaten 4-0. Not by Germany, not by Italy, not by Spain, Argentina, Brazil, you know, France or Belgium. Or the Dutch. Not even the fucking Poles, who've got one of the best strikers in the world, right? Who's basically like sticking a Dodge engine inside a fucking Ford Fiesta. That's what it's like looking at the Polish squad. We've been beaten by the fucking Hungarians. We've been beaten 4-0 by the Hungarians at Molineux. Christ, if it was Wembley, they'd have to build a new one because the fans would have torn the fucking thing down. That's our worst loss since the 1920s. Since the 1920s. And Southgate's got to go. He's got to go. He has no plan B again. All right? He's proved he can't do it. He bottled it in the semis against Croatia. He bottled it in the final against Italy. And he's now bottling Nations League. Right? We've got 2 games. 2 games until we play in the World Cup. Which shouldn't have been held where it is. And it should be on right now. But that's beside the fucking point, right? You've got 2 games to turn this around. You've got 2 games in fucking September, right? So, here's what you do in September, right? Bearing in mind, you play Italy and you play Germany, right? You come out, right, with a new fucking manager. Get Graham Potter in. You know, get, I don't know, fucking anybody. Get anybody except fucking Southgate. Because at the moment, this is not making sense to me. Okay? I would rather have Dean Smith managing England. Here's the thing, I like Dean Smith and Craig Shakespeare. I think they're fantastic characters. And I think for Norwich, they would have been fantastic characters. I think the only reason we didn't stay up is because the fact that by the time we got towards the arse end of the season, players just didn't give a shit anymore. You know. But Dean Smith, when he's got good players under him, can actually do quite well. And he knows how to hold his bottle. You have to remember, he got Villa to a EFL Cup final, right? So he knows how to do it in cup competitions. Southgate has in his hands the best England squad in our history. That lot is better than the Golden Generation by a fucking mile. By a mile. And yet, we ain't won nothing for it. We're going to end up like the Belgians. The Belgian lot, they've just been and gone, right? Lukaku, De Bruyne, the Hazard brothers, you know, Tielemans to a small extent. What have they got to show for what is arguably one of the best attacking forces on the planet? They've got nothing to show for it. They haven't won a World Cup. I don't think they won a Euros. So, here's your options. You either stick with Southgate, We blunder our way through the group in the World Cup, and inevitably we make it into the quarters or the semis, and then we get knocked out. I was like, oh, don't worry, we'll have a go again in 2 years' time, and the cycle will repeat. Or you can knock him off, you can buy Graham Potter or someone of his like. And the reason why I say Graham Potter is because I think Graham Potter would bring this club into the absolute, or not the club, sorry, would bring the country into a state of absolute flippant anarchy when it comes to football, right? He would play fast-paced, attacking football. He'd get his fullbacks up. He'd get them going forward. He'd get them cutting inside and shooting and just going, bam, 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 bam. He'd get them going forward and just doing what they can do. Instead, you've got Southgate at the moment who will just sit back and will fucking bottle a fucking 1-0 lead because he ain't got the fucking cojones to fucking try and gut the cunts, right? Which is what we should have done against the Italians. We should have taken that game by the scruff of the neck. We should have put 2 or 3 past them. Then you should have fucking parked the bus in the second half. Bam, there you go. You win a Euros. Your legacy is cemented. I want Southgate's legacy to be, he won a World Cup, he won a Euro, he won Nations Leagues, he's done all of it, he's the greatest England manager in the history of England managers. Instead, he's probably going to go down in history as the likes of Fabio Capello, who had all the ability of him in the world, but just got nothing out of it. Ultimately, this don't matter, because ultimately the FA will not get rid of him. Now, why won't the FA get rid of him? Because he's a yes man. The FA are a bit like the Glazers. Now, for those of you who don't understand, the Glazers have always liked a yes man. Someone who will take what they will give them and do it and then won't ask for more. Southgate is the same in a different sort of meaning. But basically, Southgate won't argue against what the FA says and does. He won't contest it. He won't just sort of get up the backside about it. He won't do it. He won't do it. Right? And they love a yes man. Now, I don't particularly care for all this nonsense about people saying, oh, he's woke and he's this and he's that and he's more cared about, he cares more about racism, and, showing pride and stuff. I don't care, right? I really don't care for that, okay? If he wants to do that, that's his own opinion. I care about what happens on the field, okay? Because at the end of the day, all that other stuff don't matter. There's 90 minutes on that field where it matters. And at the moment, we're not getting that 90 minutes. At the moment, we are getting 90 minutes. We're getting 90 minutes of being fucking bored out of our mind, right? Honestly, I would rather have Sean Dyche in charge. Stick a big centre forward up front, Sancho putting in balls. I don't care, right? Anything's got to be more entertaining than watching us, get to the edge of their box and then turning around and passing it back. Anything's got to be more entertaining than this. But like I say, ultimately, we won't sack him. He won't be sacked. He'll be here for the World Cup. He'll be here for the next Euros. And eventually he'll get sacked. I'll probably be in my 30s. And we'll all be here. And we'll all be saying to ourselves, why did we not get rid of him sooner? And it'll be the exact same as the Ollie question from Man United fans. We have to give him time. He needs time. He needs time to get it right. Okay. He's bottled it twice, and this will be a third time if he doesn't do it in the World Cup, which he won't do. Everyone's going to start singing at Christmas. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. And then we're going to get fucking flattened when we don't make it out of the group stages and the Yanks do, So, ultimately, this has been a little bit of a rant. This has been more than a year in the making. Jesus Christ, I didn't do anything on the Norwich Premier League. Don't expect anything on Norwich Premier League, by the way. I wrote that season off, okay? I wrote it off. So don't expect nothing to do with that season. I'll do some stuff, obviously, starting for the new season. Getting back into the swing of things, hopefully. Hopefully my new rig is turning up soon, so I'll be able to get some proper camera equipment rather than have to record on a phone. On the bright side, at the very least, I'm using a new phone rather than the old piece of crap. No, I've lost it. Never mind. Yeah, rather than the old piece of crap that I was using. So this is still just a temporary option. The new rig will be setting up. We'll be doing, hopefully, week by weeks, monitoring Norwich City as we hopefully fight our way back. You know, let's hope we can get this channel back going again. So, yeah, it's good to be back. And Southgate out.